Hello everyone, welcome to Thought Soup. This is episode number 2. So this week we're going to talk about overthinking. Something very common in our culture. Common to all humans generally, but in our culture in this day and age, with all this overstimulation, we've got a lot of thinking going on. So what is overthinking? Well, overthinking is thinking too much, obviously, but how do we measure it? Well, we can't really, because some people think a lot compared to who? To somebody that thinks less. So how much is overthinking? It doesn't make a lot of sense. We can't even approach it really. So we must approach it maybe from an angle of overthinking is anything that makes you feel uncomfortable. It makes you feel like you're a slave to this mind that never stops. So it may keep you from sleeping, it may keep you from being in a state of tranquility, it may give you headaches, it may make you edgy, unable to focus, etc., etc. So when we notice these things, we can call them overthinking. So what can be done about it? Well, first of all, I think we have to understand that the brain produces thoughts. That's what it does. Just like the heart pumps, that's what it does. The stomach digests. Legs are made to walk upon, etc., etc. Each parts of our body have a different function. The brain, in part, produces thoughts. That's what it does. So I don't think it's realistic to try to block all thoughts. You know, some people sit there, go in meditation and say, oh, my mind never stops. I'm not a good meditator. That's not the right approach. It's not how it works. So first of all, I think, what are the tools that we have at our disposal? So we have our consciousness. So the first thing is we can be aware of our thoughts. Just being aware of them, seeing them. Very important. Just like the emotions last week I was talking about. Being aware of our emotions. In the same way we can be aware of our thoughts. So that's the first step. Then once we're aware of them, well, we have different approaches. One of them is we can turn the volume down, so to speak. Just like the radio. When the radio is always on or the television, it's like, wow, this background noise, you just turn it down or turn it off and you're like, peace of mind. We can kind of do the same thing. How do we do that? Well, we don't need to believe every single thought we have. It's not because we have a thought that it's true. We just think our thoughts are true. We go to war over this, quite literally. So we can take our thoughts a little less seriously and not pay as much attention to them as we normally do. So how do we do that? Well, we can maybe focus on what's going on in the moment. For example, I can maybe focus on my breath. Just feel the air going in and coming out. This is a form of meditation. We can just focus on what I'm doing, whatever it is. Am I cutting carrots for dinner tonight? Cut the carrots. Be aware of the knife in your hand. And that will focus the mind, and the volume of the thoughts will drop drastically. In fact, when you're passionate about something, you're not thinking about anything else when you're in that activity. I'll give you an example. If you're passionate about sports, whatever sport it may be, when you're watching it, you're completely focused on that. There's no other thought that's in the background that's keeping you from focusing on what you're focusing on. So bringing back to the moment you're in, whatever it is you're doing, that's a great way to turn the volume down on this, what we call excessive thinking. That's one way to do it. Another way is go for a walk in nature, in the woods. in the prairies, outside, feel the wind, hear the noise of the wind, of the leaves, of little animals around, of the feet walking on sticks or whatever it is you're walking on, etc. So just bringing back to the moment what's going on. And that kind of brings down all the volume. And then, like I said before, you don't have to believe every thought you have. You don't need to, because they're not all good thoughts. You can probably notice that on your own. Most of the thoughts we have are the same that we've had the day before, and then the same that we had the day before that. And it's been shown that 90% of all the thoughts we have are basically the same year on end. Pretty sad, actually. Not very creative. And so we don't need to pay attention too much to them. So that's the first thing. Another thing that we can do is pick a thought that's happening in the moment, because you're trying to be aware of your overthinking, whatever the case may be, and whatever you pick as a thought, go deeper into it. So what do I mean by that? For example, if you notice that you're thinking about, I have to go and get the groceries, buy the groceries. That's one of the thoughts. And then you're like, okay, stop. Come back to buying the groceries. Okay. When am I going to go? Okay, start thinking about that. Okay, I'll go tomorrow. Okay, at what time? Okay, this time. How am I going to go there? I'll take the car, I'll take the bus, I'll take my bicycle. How am I going to go there? What am I going to buy? So what you're doing is you're funneling all this energy, this thought energy, into a specific thought and going into more detail about it. And that also calms the mind down because you're focusing. So lack of focus can bring agitation. That's why a lot of people do meditation. Great masters teach meditation. That's essentially what they teach, is just to focus on one thing. And sometimes when you're a little bit more advanced, you can actually focus on nothing. Just being present. That's it. It's very simple. Not easy, but very simple. So that's my advice. Don't believe all the thoughts you have. Turn the volume down by focusing in the moment on what it is you're doing. Actually pay attention to what you're doing. If you're not doing anything, breathe. Focus on your breathing. That would be great. Notice how you're breathing and just sit down. Turn off your TV. Turn off your phone. Turn off the Wi-Fi in your house. Turn off the radio. Don't put any music. Just calm down. When you calm down, the mind will calm down as well, slowly. Think of it like this. When there's a storm, when there's lots of wind, when the wind is very, very strong, the waves on the ocean are really, really strong and big, right? And then when the wind dies down, the ocean is still quite agitated. And you're like, well, there's no wind, because it takes a while. There's a certain inertia. It takes a while, and then slowly the waves become smaller and the water will quiet down. The mind is very similar. So when you turn everything off, it's not instant, like, oh, I'm calm now, I'm all zen. No, it's not how it works. Turn everything off, go for a walk, relax, and slowly the mind will drop down in intensity, and you'll start enjoying life a bit more. So that's my advice. I hope this helps. If it helps, good. Leave a comment below if you want. I'll answer, of course, as much as possible. And next week we have an exciting topic, actually. And we're going to talk about, I looked at my notes because I couldn't remember this, obviously. I never remember much. But it's about death. So that's going to be a funny one. It's going to be a nice one, entertaining. So we started with emotions. Today we're into overthinking, and then we'll go into death. So it's going to be a Interesting one. Hope to see you then. And have a good one. Bye.